It's another episode of This Week in Google. It's This Week in Google Glass, but also Wearable Today episode. What number are we? 56? Is that right, Luke? 56?
I think that's right.
Yeah, we're going to talk about LG Kids trackers. We're going to talk about how wearable technology can be a $19 billion a year industry by 2018. And then we're going to talk about gold Apple Watches, blinging it out, and how wearables can be pretty much blinged out by 2020. All this and a whole bunch more this week on Wearable Today. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine, Think Magazine, put in a geek for Wearable Today. Jeff at twig.tv with 2 Gs. And, well, I took 2 weeks off, so I've been kind of slacking on changing the email address, but that's where you can get me right now. And as always, well, this week, now he's back. He's back from his vacation. I'm back from my vacation. Mr. Luke Wallace, how you doing?
Hey, doing real good tonight, Jeff. It's good to be back.
Yes.
Good to be back in the studio. And if you're trying to find me, you can find me on Twitter at Luke Luca, or in Google Plus at Plus Luke Wallace, or at the email address, the kind of old email address, Luke at twig.tv, twigg.tv. Man, it's been so long since I've said it. It doesn't roll off the tongue like I'm used to.
Yeah, because Luke at twig.td, I mean, you could be having a touchdown. That's possible, but you're probably not going to get anywhere. So, all right, well, let's get into our show, and we're going to start with the segment, always, Big News, Little Arms. And, of course, Luke, why don't you give it a start there?
So we start off with the LG Kids tracker wearable known as Kaizen. It's heading to Europe from South Korea. So this wearable is not only a GPS-enabled tracking device, but it also is equipped with a button that can call you in an emergency. The 36-hour call the adults, call the parents, I believe. The 36-hour battery includes a feature that preserves battery when below 20%, just to make sure that you're able to get through the day. Unfortunately, they haven't announced what the pricing will be outside of South Korea, or if it'll actually be coming to the U.S., but it's expected to happen early next year.
All right, next up, Computer World is reporting that the Imagination Power VR series is that's going to be working on boosting graphics for wearable devices. Since the space on most wearable devices is pretty limited, graphics had to be simple yet functional and stylish to today's standards. Imagination works with mobile devices like phones and tablets, but understands the growing popularity of those smaller screen wearables. The 7 series processor could be in wearables as early as next year.
Next, we go over to Beta News, who's reporting that Juniper Research finds that wearable technology could be a $19 billion a year industry by 2018. Currently, we're at a $1.4 billion wearable industry, but Juniper and ABI Research say that wearables are entering into the enterprise market, like healthcare, and that will cause a big jump in market share. So we've seen many companies testing wearable tech for better customer service, inventory tracking, and more. You've probably heard about all these things on past shows, and we're just seeing we're seeing wearables launch into new verticals daily, and wearable technology can be set to a priority network so that the watch or Google Glass, for example, doesn't work outside the environment, and it makes for a better aware employee and secure campus.
Next up, all this needs is a Startfleet insignia. Wired reports on a company called OnBeep with a device that's a one-touch walkie-talkie. Attached to your clothes, you can press the button and give your best Smokey and the Bandit impersonation. Breaker 1040, 1040, breaker, 10-9, 10-4, 10-1, 10, whatever the number is. So, but you can use it. I lost my place there. The initial device is called Onyx, and it'll be a great way to connect with friends and family on trips, planning parties, and more. And I'm guessing that this will also be part of people's security systems. And this takes off as it's going. So the startup is it's over on Wired.com if you want to read more.
And then just today on the Android Wear front, we saw that the Sony Smartwatch 3 launched. This is the first Android Wear device that has built-in GPS and music storage, which makes it great for people who want to track their run and listen to music without taking their smartphone with them. So after returning from their run, all their run data would be able to sync with Google Fit, which just launched a couple weeks ago. They did announce pricing, so you can pick up a Sony Smartwatch 3 today from Google Play for $250.
You want to get that for me, Luke? You got
Christmas is coming.
Can I borrow $250? No? Okay. All right. And then finally, last article here over at CNN Money. Of course, we've talked about Google Glass and movie theaters, the guy in Ohio that got asked to leave. But the MPAA and NATO, the National Association of Theater Owners, not that other NATO, but they're updated their policies at Show East to indicate that anyone wearing wearable recording devices should put their devices away while watching a movie. Notice how they didn't say Google Glass. They said wearable recording devices. This could be anything from, like the GoPro on the head to Google Glass to something like a wearable pocket device or anything like that. If not, they may be asked to leave. They also wrote, if theater managers have indications that illegal recording activity is taking place, they will alert law enforcement authorities when appropriate, who will determine what further action should be taken. So make sure that you leave your Google Glass at home, or you have like some piece of tape or something like that over that. And don't record movies. I mean, Gravity just wasn't that important. The new Matthew McConaughey space movie is just not that important. And if you try and do the kids' movies, they're just going to look horrible. So just don't even do it. Just don't do it. So anyway, that's this episode's version of Big News, Little Arms. All right. So, and now it's time for our next segment of the day. And of course, we've got the Q&A area open right now. We talked about the Showcase app that's on Google Hangouts, and I didn't put these links into the Showcase app. One, because I'm juggling between so many screens and so many windows. It's ridiculous. But two is the Showcase app, if I could put the stuff in there and be able to easily click from one to another, it would be great. Or if I could have Luke do it, it would be great. But it's just not going to work. So we've got the Q&A section open, so feel free to ask your questions there. We'll try to get to them as we go in the show. Other than that, we've got now a new host of sound effects like this one. So we were both on vacation the last couple weeks. Luke, you took a little bit earlier than mine, but you went down to Florida and you saw one of our friends, right?
Yes, I did, Jeffrey. I was down in Tampa, Florida, seeing some friends of mine with my wife who, we have friends down there, so we spent a few days with them. But because they live in Tampa, I was like, Tampa, why is that? That seems really familiar. So I looked it up, and yeah, Big Cat Rescue, who we had on the show last year, Carol Baskin, who's the CEO there, runs Big Cat Rescue, and so it was in the area, so we actually made a trip over there, and we're able to take a tour. Big Cat Rescue is not a zoo. It is a big cat sanctuary, and so that means that you can't just kind of go whenever you want and just hang out and just walk around and then leave. You actually have to schedule a tour. They only do a couple of tours a day, okay. And you're there with guides who are the people who work with the cats and do the feeding and any sort of health care that's needed for those cats.
So in other words, if you show up unannounced, they'll throw you to the cats.
Pretty much. I think the first thing you see, you go down Easy Street. That's the street they are located on in Tampa. And you pull up to the little, the people, and they say, oh, do you have an appointment? And you say, yes or no. And they can kind of check your name off and make sure that before they even let you into park, they let you know you can't just come in and walk around. You have to you have to have an appointment, and or I guess sometimes if you're there at the right time, you might be able to get in if you're going to go on one of the guided tours. But it's not. It's not just a real casual thing. They take it very seriously. Safety is a big concern.
Yeah.
You're getting very close to these big cats, but you see some just amazing animals, and you hear some amazing stories about where they've come from and how they've been treated before, and how well they're being treated now. And yeah, it's really great. It's a great charity to support if you like big cats or just cats in general. Yeah, just really, really neat. They have a lot of different options for tours. So they have some longer ones. They have ones where you kind of get to be like a trainer. They have some photography-based ones where you can go and, if you really want to take some good pictures of these cats, you can have a better opportunity for that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Now
really, really nice.
you didn't get a chance to meet Carol because she
That
had
is
some,
correct.
right?
Yeah, unfortunately, Carol was busy dealing with some health issues of some of the cats. They definitely have a lot of older cats. The rescue was started back in the mid '90s, and so now there are a lot of cats that are getting up there in age, and so these bigger cats have bigger issues, and so she was just busy for the time I was there, but she was very nice, and we went back and forth via email, and so we'll have to go out there again to try to catch her. But it was just a great opportunity. Jeff's showing some pictures here. They have these the little FM radio kind of thing that
Oh, that's what that was.
that's what
Okay.
that is. So it's a little FM radio with a single earbud that attaches to it, because that way the person giving the tour can talk very quietly, but you can hear them while they're talking, because they don't even want to have lots of loud noises. There are rules about the age. You can't take children under the age of 10 at all. And if you want to, or is it at all, or there's like one, I don't think you can take children under the age of 10 at all. And then children under the age of 13 or 14 or something, I think there's a certain, there's only certain times that you can actually take them in. They do a special tour for kids, like one Saturday a month. So yeah, very, very restricted. It's not all like you would imagine at a zoo or something. So yeah, there's a lot of pictures here, lots of video I took with glass, which is really, really interesting. So you really get to see what it's like. Yeah, check out my photos on Google Plus. I have a Tampa album. I'll probably create a big cat rescue album. I took some other pictures with another camera that I need to get added in there. Yeah, that's some new. Those are some of the new tigers they've gotten. That
Oh,
one I
wow.
think that was a quick tiger. They wouldn't even let us stop to take pictures, but with glass I was able to snap a quick one as we went. Yeah, so it's yeah, just beautiful, beautiful animals,
Yeah.
and they really do their best to take care of them. You can see here just how close you are, how close you're able to get to them, just within a few feet, and just really, really amazing. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
if you live in the Tampa area or you're visiting the Tampa area, I would say try to work out. You need to buy tickets probably in advance. Because they do have a limited number of people they can take on the tours. They can't just have 50 people walking around back there. It'd be too crazy. But so if you're in that area, I'd highly suggest it.
That's cool. That's cool. So other than that, your vacation went well? No problems?
Oh yeah,
Anything else?
Tampa's beautiful. Yeah, no problems whatsoever. Great weather, much nicer than it's going to be here in the next couple days.
Are you kidding? It's supposed to snow tomorrow here.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
going to get down to freezing.
yeah, we're gonna get snow up here in.
Madison, Wisconsin.
There you go. There you go. So, my vacation was a little bit different. I'll tell you right now, I did not take Google Glass with me. I had so much stuff. I was actually trying to pare everything down, and I was telling Jennifer, it's like, I'm not going to take as much stuff as I normally do on any trips because this is supposed to be a vacation. So I took the GoPro Hero, the new Hero 4 that I got, and we were in New York City. We took the train to New York City. So lots of great pictures and video. I haven't posted up totally. I've posted some stuff up on Google Plus, but I also did walk around of the train using the Hero, and that was a lot of fun. But then we spent Halloween on Times Square. and that was pretty cool. Although the costumes weren't as great as I thought they would be.
Hmm.
They turned out to
It's a
be,
little disappointing.
yeah, a little bit. But I was we had a lot of fun. Of course, we were there because a friend of ours was running in the New York City Marathon, and I'm thinking to myself, there's about 50,000 people that participate in the marathon, but and I suppose about 150,000 that watch that 50,000. So I kind of compare the New York City Marathon to something like going to see. Well, I'm 95, which technically was my last vacation. I went to see the Final Four in Seattle, and I'm being very literal. That was my last real vacation, was in 1995, and so it was very different to actually take a real vacation out of the whole thing, but had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun, and all I got pictures up on Facebook and Google Plus and stuff like that, and you can check that all out. But and it is just amazing to take. If you've never taken, have you ever taken a train, Luke?
No, I wanted to ask about that. I wanted to know what that experience is like. It's always something I've wanted to do, but Texas is really big, and so I feel like I'd spend 2 days getting anywhere on train.
Yeah,
So
well,
what? Tell me about that.
basically the first train we took was it's Chicago to New York City, and it's called the Cardinal train, and it's a 27-hour ride. And yeah, that's a long journey, but the idea, we could have taken a shorter train, but we wanted to see the scenes. So basically, this train goes from Chicago down through Kentucky, down to West Virginia, and then back up through Virginia,
Hmm.
through D.C., and then into New York City. So, and if you ever take a train, keep in mind that a train rarely gets to the end station on time. Now, it's usually like an hour or two behind. Our 27-hour trip, we had a little bit longer of a delay, which kind of it basically got us in 6 hours late,
Hmm.
which it's kind of sucked, but in all reality, it was really cool because I could actually cancel one day on my reservation for the hotel. We saved some cash there. So, but we got there, and we went straight to the Today Show, and
Hmm.
we did our pictures on the Today Show, and that was a lot of fun. And we met Matt Lauer and uh, Kathy and Hoda, and we got to see Zoe Deschanel inside the studio perform some music, some songs, which was awesome. So the train ride just awesome. If you have the chance, yeah, it's about the same price as a plane ticket, but it's about the journey to get there rather than just getting there. So
Yeah, they do trains from. I know. I don't know if it's directly from Dallas. I think you have to go down to Austin, and you can take them out through El Paso and out to Vegas and out to all the way to L.A., San Francisco area, out in California. And I think it's a really long trip.
yeah,
4 or 5 days to get out there. But that might be something I'll have to do sometime because it just seems like that'd be just a whole different experience. You really get to enjoy the scenery
yeah.
and and kind of see that train life a little bit.
If you do, there's three types on Amtrak. There's three types of cars. There's the regular general seating,
Hmm.
where it's like uh, we could have paid $100 and did the train ride through that car,
Hmm.
but it's just a general area. It's like just the regular plane seats, except these are humongous plane seats that you get. You get a lot of room in that area.
Yeah.
But it's general admission, so there's a whole bunch of people in that car sleeping and talking and stuff like that. Then you have the roomette, which is no bigger than my bathroom. Yeah, but it sleeps two, and it's got its own toilet, and it's besides the toilet part, it actually is a better place to kind of enjoy the train ride because you don't have other people walking around you or anything like that. It's a little bit more private, and then
Hmm.
you have the kind of the executive suites of the train where you get a little bit more room. You get your own shower in it, even though it's a very small shower, you still get that, and that's pretty cool. But for I think we paid it was $100 to go from Chicago to New York, another 200 for the roomette, and we weren't disappointed. by any
Hmm.
means on doing the train ride. So if you decide to do a my point is if you decide to do a 4 to 5 day train ride, you might want to get something such as the roomette instead of packed in with a whole bunch of other people. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it sounds really nice.
yeah,
Just being able to kind of have your own little hotel room on wheels. Very, very small hotel room, but still, now you can get out of that room and walk around the train and do some other things kind
yeah.
of while you're there. You're not like you have to stay in that room for the entire
No.
4 days. And there's a dining car. It looked like I saw some pictures that you posted.
Yeah, both of them had. Well, one of them had the full dining car, and the other one had a smaller dining car. It's not. It wasn't really called a dining car. I can't remember what it was called. But it was just basically you ate there, and you can get your peanuts and your soda and stuff like that there. They have cars that have observation decks. I guess they're like glass ceilings or something like that. We didn't
Hmm.
have that, and we could have gotten some great pictures off that. But like I said, we didn't have that. And yeah, it's basically a stop and go type thing. So you could be riding for an hour, and all of a sudden it stops for about 10 minutes at a station, and goes to the next one, and so on
Hmm.
and so forth. So it was a lot of fun. We met a lot of very interesting people, and and good food, great times. Inside the roomette, they also have like plug outlets. So I plugged in. I'll tell you a little story. I had my Nexus 5 here. This is not the Nexus 5 I took to New York. Um, they have this in the roomette? Like I said, they have a toilet, but they also have this fold-down sink. And with the fold-down sink, they have like a little countertop right underneath the fold-down sink. Well, I had my tablet, my Sony tablet, and my Nexus 5 sitting on that counter. We get out of Penn Station about 2 miles out, coming back to Chicago. 2 miles out, we hit a bump, and that sink just falls straight down. And at first, I was like, "Oh my God, I busted my tablet." But I looked at the tablet, and it's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, very durable." But then I looked at my phone, and there was like a big gash, like right there. So I called up Amtrak, and they're supposed to still be sending me some forms. But then I called up Google, and I said, "Hey, look, it's matched my Nexus 5," and they said, "Well, since you're a good loyal customer, buttering me up a little bit, they will get you another one." So they sent me another Nexus 5, and it was the turnaround time, 48 hours.
Wow.
So I had to. Well, of course, you have to put it on the credit card. So you basically
Sure.
buy this one, and then when they get the old one back, they refund you.
The credit, yeah. Yeah.
But that's cool. I don't have a cracked screen, and I'm really happy about that. And my Google, I don't. I've been thinking, do I get another new phone, or do I stick with the Nexus 5 for another year? And I think my answer is I'm going to stick with the Nexus 5 unless something big happens. And I'm not going for an iPhone 6. So, but anyway, so that was my trip to New York. We had a lot of fun. Took some video, and you'll see that over on Geekazine. You'll see that over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Geekazine. And it was a lot of fun. So, all right. Anything else we need? Anything else that's happened to you? Or
Not so much. I know we had Halloween. The last time I was on the show was actually before Halloween.
oh yeah,
So it's been a while. So I did complete my costume and get that all done. Uh, I know I posted some pictures of that to my Google Plus. So people will have to check that out if they're interested in seeing it. But it is a very faithful recreation of a character from the Star Wars series. People might know him as Luke Skywalker. Yes, there's probably a lot of jokes in there, but it's the costume from Return of the Jedi, most well known for the speeder bike scenes, kind of where they're riding the speeder bikes and they have that kind of interesting hat. And oh, you found a picture, so there it
yeah. I
is.
had to find a picture.
Yeah, so
So
there's a picture of me with a functioning lightsaber that I
my,
use.
that's a long lightsaber you have there.
Yeah, the perspective makes it probably look longer than it is. It looks about like it's as long as like I am, like 5 feet tall, or something like that, or 5 feet long. But no, it's not actually that big. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool, and I got to see it before all of you guys got to see it. So it
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
I was pretty impressed. You did a great job on your costume. I
Oh,
went as annoying GoPro hero guy because I had the head strap and I had it strap.
yeah.
Well, if you saw my Halloween video thing, you'll see me as annoying GoPro video guy. So I use my wearable technology in my costume. That was pretty cool. So
If anybody wants to see that costume in person, I actually have joined a Star Wars costuming club. Yes, yes, there are such things. And I'll be, the plan is, at least right now, that I'll be marching in the Dallas Children's Parade on December 6th, which I believe is televised, at least in the DFW area. Obviously, it's not a nationally televised parade, but if you're in the Dallas area and you want to check that out, look for the Star Wars group, and I should be the only Luke Skywalker parading along there.
you would think,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Well, from the list I've seen, it's going to be a lot of stormtroopers, so keep an eye out for a whole bunch of stormtroopers.
Is there going to be a Darth Vader at least?
There will be. There will be. There's one Darth Vader guy that's confirmed, so
That's cool.
yeah.
That's cool. So, all right. Well, if there's nothing else, then I think it's time to move to one of our newer segments in the show. It's called Apple Watch. And basically what this is the Apple Watch not coming out right away. It's got some time before it actually comes out to theaters near you. But Apple, there's been a lot of rumors in the Apple front, and of course the biggest rumor is a $5,000 Apple Watch. Apple's working on an 18 karat gold version for those who want to pay a little bit more than $349 price tag. French bloggers iGen have laid the claim to this watch being in development, and we here at Wearable Today actually just don't dispute that. We think that that's coming. A few weeks ago when we were talking, we had Will-i-am and what was the name of that watch? The Bling or Bling or something like that. But Will-i-am is making smart wearables.
Pulse.
PULS. Right. Yes. So they're making wearable technology that is that's going to fashionize and be pretty expensive. But 18 karat gold. I don't know. Have you ever? Do you have any? I don't think I've ever had any 18 karat gold jewelry. I don't normally wear jewelry, and most of my watches have been $10 Walgreens specials, which I don't wear a watch anymore. So, do you have anything 18 karat gold?
I don't think I have anything that like of that carat. I've got a couple of I've got a wedding band and a class ring, and I think those are more in like the 10 to 14 karat kind of range. So 18 karat's pretty stout, and the price of gold is quite high. So it wouldn't surprise me if you wanted to do enough gold to make a watch or a watch band. It would be a lot of money. So that price doesn't surprise me if they're talking about that high quality of gold and that much of it.
Well, I'm guessing it's going to be more than just gold. I'm guessing it's going to be a fancier charging dock. I'm guessing there's going to be a little bit better band. I mean, the band itself can't be gold because the problem with gold is, doesn't it turn your does it turn your wrist green or?
No. Gold doesn't. Other metals can, like
Yeah,
if
but
they're not gold, like brass or something, I think.
yeah, but oh no, it's gold touches skin, the oil from the skin rub off the gold, and so the gold wears. That's why I learned that from Oscar awards. Most people grab their Oscars by the base, and that's where it shows the most wear because of the fact that the oils get onto that part, which is all gold. So, but what other things can we expect to have for wearables to become expensive? I mean, you have gold, you have diamonds. Is there other materials that we could expect to A, bling out our wearable technology, and two, see a high price tag on it?
Ooh, I think any of the precious stones, rubies, sapphires, that kind of stuff, like you could probably see those used to accent some expensive watch. But yeah, maybe a silver version. I think you get something a little lower cost, but still very high end looking.
Yeah.
So
Now you said your class ring was gold. Mine, I think
Hmm.
mine is what, pewter or something like that. Because I knew that I'd be wearing my class ring for what 3 months, and then it would be sitting in a box.
Hmm.
Or actually, I wore it my senior year. That's right. And then after that, it pretty much sat in a box. So I didn't want to get something gold,
Hmm.
because that just didn't make sense to me. But there's got to be some other way. I suppose if you had certain designers come in and make the watch or make the wearable device, like for instance, like a Maybach type situation,
Hmm.
then that would probably be a little bit more expensive.
So do you think you'd buy one? Like kind of what do you think you're, now maybe, if you're using Android, you probably wouldn't want to get an Apple Watch just because the integration wouldn't be there technologically wise. But let's say they came out with something very comparable for whatever device you've got at the time. What do you think your price point might be or your price limit might be for something like that?
Well, first of all, while I was in New York, I actually got to see the Bassist watch, which I don't know if anybody knows about this wearable device, but it looks like a regular Casio type watch, maybe a little bit higher end. But also, it just basically tells you the time, tells you your steps, your heart rate. On the back's got green lights and a bunch of sensors that help you measure your vitals and stuff like that. So a watch like that, which then connects up to either iOS or Android, I could see myself. That's about a $300 watch right there. If it stepped up to about, I'd say about $1,000. I don't think I'd go over $1,000
Hmm.
because I think $1,000 watch would then give me a watch that would make me look very presentable if I have to wear some higher end clothing, which would be odd in my case, no matter what. But if let's say I did get dressed up in tuxedos, then I could wear a watch like that and feel like it's not out of place as opposed to a standard Apple Watch or something like that. How about you? Would you do that?
Yeah, I don't think I'd go for $1,000 watch. I think that'd be a little bit out of my price point. I think, and the reason I'm saying that is, uh, one, that's a lot of money that I could probably use on something else. Um, but also, if it's a technology thing, it's like how long is that technology going to be relevant and usable?
Yeah.
If you can get 2 or 3 years out of it, okay, that's one thing. But if it's something like that expensive, I would expect to get 10 years out of it, or it'd be a lifetime thing. And a really expensive, let's say a Rolex, just for example, something like that, you could actually see passing down to your children or your grandchildren, or making it almost like an heirloom of something that would be passed on. But I don't think that a smartwatch would really fall into that category, just because the technology that it interfaces with would be outdated. Bluetooth LE will get replaced by something else, and it
Hmm.
won't have that in there. And so I think that's, for me, that's what the problem would be. But I could see, like the 250 price point that a lot of the watches are at right now, that feels kind of right. You get up to like $500, like, maybe if it did enough, maybe if there were just enough features in it, um, that made it really, valuable and really usable. I could see maybe doing that. But yeah, much above that is really hard for me to justify, or just because, like I said, it will be outdated. There'll be a better version that'll come out next year, and it'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, now I got to spend another $1,000. It's like, well, I guess I can sell last year's model, and but now you have to go through that hassle. And so, just for me, 250 to 500 is probably where I will always reside for that kind of tech. Like I said, as they get more capable, maybe that'll go up. But
Well, first of all, it's more than just watches and glass.
mhm.
It could be like a wearable device that takes pictures, or as we talked about, the communicator
Yeah.
thing. I could see a lot of Star Trek aficionados get one of those if it looked like the Star Trek emblem, and they could actually do a walkie-talkie back and forth with other people.
Mhm.
And if that thing was solid gold, or at least some sort of gold type, I think they'd go for something like that. But the other thing I was thinking about was, could diamonds become an enhancement if placed in the right spot for solar cells on a device such as a watch.
Hmm.
So they become an amplifier for a solar panel that would be on a watch to keep the watch active, so it doesn't need to be constantly put onto a charger. I don't know. I don't know how, if that would work or not, or not, anything like
Sure.
that. But it's just things like that that make me wonder, how can we make it more efficient, make it more so we don't have to put it on a charger every night and go from there. Now, on your other point is, if there was a way that we could take, like, let's say this iWatch $5,000 iWatch is just basically a case for the iWatch,
Mm.
and you could take out the iWatch, you put in another, the next version of the iWatch, and have that shell for 10, 20 years. Would that be worth more than your price point?
I think so. I think then you're making a real interesting argument there of, something that holds the technology but is more modular and can be replaced, where over time the internals can be replaced and upgraded. Something kind of like, I've seen Project Ara, which I know isn't wearable technology, but kind of coming back into play. The idea of your phone having different modules that you can either swap out as needed or upgrade over time, where instead of having to buy a whole new phone, you're buying components to it. Something kind of like that, where imagine you could have a different module of, oh, I need a different battery pack on my watch right now, just so I can make it through, this entire little business trip without having to take my charger.
Mm.
Or I want to put on my pedometer, I want to put on, or whatever it is, my heart rate monitor, so that I can track my heart rate because I'm going for a jog, something like that. All of a sudden, then that price point of, 500 to 1,000 is a lot more appealing, because it's something that will grow with you. And it's kind of like a DSLR, right? It's like they're more expensive, but it's because they're so much more versatile, and you can swap out lenses over time, and
Well, more
and all
than
that.
that, I mean, well, the Canon. I got, of course, I got my Canon DSLR down here, and the best part about that is, if I ever find a chest of DSLR, or I'm sorry, SLR, Canon SLR lenses, I
Yeah.
know I can just hook them right up and go from there. So yeah, if there's modular points that could go in there, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you.
And maybe that's part of what all these little communicators and stuff are. Maybe we're not looking for a single wearable device that will be the one ring to rule them all kind of thing. But you'll have your watch, and then you'll have your communicator on your little lapel communicator thing, and you might have a few different devices that are actually all working together to
Yeah.
create the exact kind of wearable experience you want.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Um, I think what we're seeing right now, especially since the Apple Watch is not out yet,
Yeah.
is we're starting to see a tiering of wearables. Because as we said earlier, in 2018, this will become a $19 billion industry. And to be perfectly honest, I think that their projections are very, very conservative. I think that it will be a 30 to $50 billion industry, because we haven't found that one wearable that's really going to tap into the wearables just yet. We have watches and we have glass, but I'm thinking that there's going to be clothing that's going to have, right here is going to have a set of sensors that will monitor your body, your heat temperature, your everything like that. And when it starts getting sewn into clothing that can be sold at $10 a garment at a Target or a Walmart, then that 30 to 50 billion all of a sudden becomes a 80 to $100 billion industry. And I think we're really close to doing something like that. And I wouldn't be surprised in the next 5 years we will have technology that's that easy to use and throw away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think the definition changing will, like you said, really expand that market. So yeah, it probably will be bigger, just because of what all that will include now. It'll include things that today we're not even really considering. We're not even seeing major plays into this year, but next year, the year after, like you said, we'll probably see a lot more of that.
yeah. No, then CES, I remember we talked to Siemens, and they're developing, and there's a couple of companies that are doing it. They're developing hearing aids that are Bluetooth connectable, So they connect up to the TV when you need to hear the TV. They'll connect up to the phone when you need to hear the phone. They'll connect up
Nice.
to a microphone if you'll need to hear the surrounding area. And that's wearable technology in itself. And that right there is a big industry in itself.
Yeah.
So
And it's only going to get bigger too.
yeah, you get stuff like that. You get dental implants, um, uh, devices. We haven't even talked about devices, wearable technology that you ingest, that you
Mm.
bring it. Like for instance, I know on Thursday they're going to have this episode where on Big Bang Theory where Leonard's going to get surgery for his breathing problems and his asthma, which is a very common surgery. But surgeries like that, being able you'll take a pill and then they'll have a whole map out system of your insides, so they can turn around and they can do what they need to do. If they find any problems, they'll know in advance that those problems are there before
Mm.
they do any surgery. Then things like the Joan Rivers incidents will be few and far between. Even though I'm not sure exactly what happened with Joan Rivers incident, but it was determined the doctor's fault if I remember correct.
Mm.
So, but they'll take something that will give a doctor a better idea of how they're working on the insides before they go and cut open and find the problems.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
that's where I'm going. In 5 years, we're going to see stuff like that. It's going to be amazing. So,
Hmm.
but anyway, and I think I just blinked and took a picture. It's amazing. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so let's move on from there. If you want to read more on that, we've got the link. It's over at wearable.com. It just opens up the mind for what you could be doing, what we could be seeing in the next in our lifetimes, for that matter. So, all right, let's move on from there. Last article of the day. Intel. I've gone to when I've gone to things like NAB and CES. Intel's been there, and they have a lot of interesting presence in. That's interesting. They have a lot of great presence. There we go. Great presence in these events, but they also have an offline presence. And I got to see some of that technology at CES that they're working on that you'll never see as consumers. They're just testing things out randomly. But if you ever get to catch one of the Intel Discovery type zones that they have there, you'll be amazed at what they're working on. Well, they came up and they're working with 3 different wearables that they feel could be a possible change to the world. Now, the first one, the one you're seeing right there, is that I think it was the Pixie,
Nixie.
yeah, that one that we talked about a few weeks ago. Basically, straps to your wrist and goes from there and becomes a drone, basically. So we have that. We're going to move down a little bit, and well, we all know that 3D printers can make hands, and if you put electronics into those hands, they could actually do a lot more than just grip something and go from that. And this is from Open Bionics from the United Kingdom with their robotic hand, and then of course their big one. This one, what was this called again? The Pro.
The name escapes me.
I think it's Pro Glove
Yeah, let's see.
from Germany. So
Yeah, the Pro Glove. That's
yeah,
right.
this one has a little bit more.
It's right there on the glove.
Oh yeah. Oh there. Anyway, so it's built by a German team, and it has a little bit more. Has Wi-Fi capability, Bluetooth capability, and Intel's Edison chip, which I haven't really researched too much on the Edison chip. Have you read anything on that yet?
No, not yet. I can look it up real quick if you want, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just they really said it's just enhancing the ergonomics and productivity of people that use gloves, work with their hands a lot. So factory workers is kind of the what they had in mind when they built it.
Yeah. So basically, it's not like the metal strong suits that you saw in the Tom Cruise movie. What was that called? where he
Minority
died.
Report?
No, the one where he kept dying and coming back and reliving the
Edge
day.
of Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow, because they renamed it for some because of copyrights or something like that. But yeah, Edge of Tomorrow, that where everybody got in the little armored man suit and they were running around like that. And it's nothing like that. So you don't expect to pick up a boulder with
Yeah, they're
program.
not.
That's the
Yeah.
bottom line. So, but it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, this is the wearable technology. We have something like this. I didn't even think about. I mean, a pair of gloves that are going to give you some idea of what I'm assuming it's going to help you keep with make sure that you're not straining yourself or anything like that.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell exactly what they said the benefit of the glove was. The other two are fairly obvious with the personal drone and the cheap prosthetic hand that just a fraction of the cost, pennies on the dollar compared to a expensive, more commercial hand. But yeah, the glove escapes me a little bit. They didn't really mention the common application, if it's just going to be monitoring how people are using their hands, like kind of are they getting any sort of repetitive stress, or maybe what kind of weight they're carrying, or
I'm wondering if
I
it's
don't know.
I'm wondering if it's more for things like tendonitis and stuff like that.
Could be.
Yeah, because that's where I'm seeing maybe it's like you're let's say you're lifting something, and the glove notices that you might be lifting a little bit more than that your body weight or yourself could be in danger of hurting yourself. So the glove then reports back and says, "Hey, wait a minute, you're doing something that could hurt yourself. Better stop, or get somebody else to help you, or something like that." So that's interesting. Yeah, and I suppose it's a little bit like the headgear that football players wear if they get hit. They look at these little dials, and if it says that they've broken the dials, and that's concussion event, so they got to be pulled out of the game. So something similar to that. Oh, lots of interesting stuff. I'd love to learn a little bit more about this glove. They didn't really give you too much detail on it, but definitely, and of course, this is all through Intel. So that's why it's so exciting, because, like I said, we don't know what's going to be the next big thing in wearable tech, and I love it. I love it. So
Yeah. And if any of those teams are watching this and see the mention and would like to come on and talk about their product and kind of explain how it'll work and kind of what they're expecting the future to be like, that's always a fun topic. So yeah, just reach out to us, Luke at twig.tv, Jeff at twig.tv, or Luke or Geekazine.
or mental thoughts.
Yeah, or just use some wearable technology and interact with our wearable technology, and we'll see if we can make it happen.
It's kind of like your people call my people. It's your wearable device calls my wearable device. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, so that does it for this. That's the news we got this week for this episode of this. I'm sorry, Wearable Today. I keep trying to say This Week in Google Glass. And next week we'll be making a little bit more of the jump into This Week in Google Glass with newer lower thirds, and go from there. So Luke, why don't you tell everybody where they can, you're looking.
You
fun.
said we're gonna make it even deeper into This Week in Google Glass, and I think you meant into Wearable Today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still, I love the idea of This Week in Google Glass. It's one of my babies, but the reality is, how much news did you find on Google Glass this week, besides the fact that they opened up a shop in London?
Yeah. Not a lot. Not this week. Yeah. Exactly. No, totally understand. I'm not arguing with you.
I know you're not arguing. I'm just
old habits die hard. I understand. So yeah, if you're looking to find me, Luke Luca on Twitter, plus Luke Wallace on Google Plus, Luke at twig.tv. That's twigg.tv for now. Soon, shortly, Luke at wearabletoday.com.
Yeah. Well, the twig.tv is not going to go away. So if you go that way, that'll work. If you go Wearable Today, that'll
It's a lot shorter, so people might like that.
Yeah.
Quicker to type.
Definitely. Jeffrey Powers here. You can find me at Geekazine, Think Magazine, put in a geek. You've got Geekazine, Jeff at twig.tv. Some programming notes, just so you know, we're actually going to be here for a few weeks, and then I've got my international man of mystery. I got my passport this week because I'm going to Barcelona at the end. Actually, it'll be the beginning of December. So we'll have we got. I'm going to be around for the next few weeks. Luke, you're going to be around for the next few weeks.
That's the plan. I suppose something could come up, but you know, you never know. We'll deal with it as it comes. But yeah, no immediate plans that I know about.
Definitely, and we've got we're going to be talking with in the next couple weeks. We got Marco coming back. He's going to be talking about some more wearable devices, wearable 3D printed devices, and this time we're going to get out of the glass realm and talk about some of the cool stuff that they're seeing over at MakerBot there. I tried to get over to MakerBot in New York, but just didn't happen. That would have been fun, but you know, things happen. That's what happens when you're on vacation, and go from there. So, but of course, if you want to be a guest on the show, just let us know. If you've got a wearable device you want to talk about, let us know, and we'll get you on the episode. Maybe Luke will do an episode when I'm away in Spain, where I stay mainly on the plane, or something like that. So,
Is there lots of rain?
yes. That was abruptly stopped. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. If you listen, if you watch, thank you very much. Come back next week because we'll be talking more about wearable technology. I'm trying to get a Reddit subreddit up, but when I set up the subreddit, they instantly banned it. So if you have any way to help me get this going for Reddit Wearable Today, so we can get our articles from there, let me know, and we'll go from there. And what the heck was that? Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. You are watching Wearable Today. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care.